The sheer amount of coaster options in Planet Coaster is kind of overwhelming, to say the least. I feel like the information in the tab doesn't give enough to help you choose the perfect ride for your theme park. So I'm going to break down each coaster, talk about what makes them special and what makes them different. So I have every coaster laid down before us in the default order it comes in the coaster tab. And, I want to talk about, some of the basic things that we see in the tooltip, but there's some information that does kind of get lost here. So first up we have Looney Turns. It's actually the cheapest coaster to build as of right now upon the official release of Planet Coaster, and it's a chain lift, can invert, and it's for all ages. That's kind of interesting. That's one of the unique things about this coaster is it's for all ages, but it can still do the loop-de-loops. Next up we have the Ethon. This just looks like a freaking party already. You have 10 guests that can all line up in a single row. Yeah, this looks really cool. It can invert, it is a chain lift, and it's for adults and teens only. But one thing that here, this is what I was talking about, one thing that gets lost, you can do these dive, drop, holding sections. So it's going to hold the train looking straight down before releasing. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, and it's actually one of my favorite coasters. Next up we have the Werewolf. It's a floorless coaster, chain lift, can invert, and for adults and teens only. Now this guy is called the Stingray, and it's under flying roller coasters. Yeah, so you're going to have guests looking straight down, and it is an inverted coaster. It is a chain lift, as well as only for adults and teens. But this is, a very, very special ride, I'd say, in Planet Coaster. Now the Pioneer is a perfect family-friendly coaster. It's for all ages, it's a chain lift. The track inverts, but the riders do not, because they are flying on this cute little bird thing. Yeah, so I think that it's, I didn't even realize it has little feet sticking out. Yeah, no, this is a pretty cool thing. You can do fun things with the tracks, and I think it's a great family ride. Here's the Rage. I think I have to give it the best coaster name ever, the Rage, or just Rage, I guess I should say. It's a chain lift, cannot invert, for adults and teens only, but I don't think that you can do anything super crazy with it, but at least it has a cool name. The Invincible, just like the Rage we just saw, is the second Giga ride in Planet Coaster, except this one is a cable lift. It's also going to partially invert and for all ages. Now these next two are the only two hybrid coasters, which means that they're partially steel and they're partially wooden. Most of, I think 90% of the coasters we see will be steel. There's one wooden, and then there's two hybrids. So this one is the Iron Fury, as well as we have the Malice Unchained over here. And I think that, these coasters are very unique because of the way they look, where they have the steel railing, but the foundation is made of wood. And here's kind of an example of what each of these coasters look like. I think that definitely a very, very unique sort of ride to put up. Iron Fury here, and the Malice, geez, what is that? Malice Unchained. There you go. I can read good. Next up, we have the two hyper coasters in the game. We have the Equalizer as well as the Anubis. The Anubis is a chain lift, cannot invert, and for all ages. I think they both are technically, yeah, chain lifts, cannot invert, and for all ages. There are two inverted coasters in Planet Coaster, one being the 2-seater and the other one being the 4-seater. That one over there is called the Boa, this one is called the Rival. These differ, they are not like the flying coaster, which we can actually see right over there. This is the traditional legs dangling here. Both of them are chain lifts, can invert, and for adults and teens only. These next two coasters are junior rides. We have a Wendigo, which I think is adorable right here, very cute. It's actually one of the only coasters that uses a friction wheel lift instead of a chain lift. Both of these, actually, and pretty much what that means is, yeah, you'll see these little wheels here, and we can watch that go up. So they're both for all ages, cannot invert, and friction wheel lifts. I actually have like a little bit of a ramp here that I did. We can kind of view it. It's one of those longer coasters. It can really pack in a bunch of guests, and bam, we're just gonna plop them right there, right on top of the other ride. This one, maybe a little bit more for those older ages. A dragon, kind of scarier than that cute little ride over there, the Wendigo. But both of them get a kind of the same idea. Very long coasters for all ages, and geez, and they are the wheel lifts. So for me, launched roller coasters are my favorite whenever I go to theme parks in general, because what they do is they launch the coaster straight out of the gate. They use something special which these other coasters in Planet Coaster do not have, and we're going to go into that briefly here. We've got the Torque and the Sprint 500. This reminds me of, is that called the Dragster? Cedar Point? Isn't that like the fastest roller coaster, biggest roller coaster we have in the US? Something like that. These guys will both not be able to invert, and they're for adults and teens only. The Torque uses linear, synchronous motor. I have no idea what the hell that means. And then the Sprint 500 uses a hydraulic launch. The Torque is really cool though. So if we go into the edit track mode, what makes it special actually over the Dragster is that not only can you launch people out of the gates with this synchronous motor thingy, actually this is what you do, yeah, synchronous motor, so you can propel the train at speeds along the track, but what you can do is, with this one, the dual directional, is stop the train, launch it backwards, and then when the train passes back over, boost it in the forward direction. That's what makes, I think, the Torque my kind of more my favorite, I guess, than the Dragster. But both are pretty cool. I will also go into the it's not the Dragster, it's the Sprint 500. I don't know. I'm getting all mixed up now. I'm getting all confused. This one is going to be more down to the bone, just really quick. I think you might be able to even set the speed system that propels the train at speeds along the track. So yeah, obviously you're going to get some pretty huge intensity from rides like these. Next, we have the American Arrow. This is a chain lift, can invert, and for adults and teens only. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of more of a stylistic coaster, so if you like the style, choose this one. This Mine Train coaster really just shows how awesome Planet Coaster is in general as a game, because it's just such a specific ride, but everyone knows this ride, and it's not often, you know, it's not usually all that included in games, but yeah, I mean, it's a chain lift, cannot invert, for all ages. Very fun ride for, I think, scenery, you know, kind of boosting people in this little mine train, making caves and stuff like that, having monsters pop out. This is, I think, very good for scenery. So this is referred to as a prototype wing. It's, I don't know the name of this specific coaster, Tiamat. I don't know how to pronounce that. Tiamat? I don't know. It's a cable lift, cannot invert, for adults and teens only. I actually had a little bit of a ramp just to kind of show, because I think this is what makes this coaster different, is just the ramp style. I think it looks awesome. I think it's very different. Here, let's press play. Yeah, I was blowing some things up, but I really like it. I mean, I don't know what you would do if it doesn't seem very safe. Does anyone notice that? There's no ladders. I'm sorry, there's no like stairs or anything like that. So wouldn't be safe if this coaster got stuck. And then boom. Just wanted to show that off because I don't know. I still find that funny. Now next up we have the only single rail ride. It's called the Basilisk. You can kind of see the chain and see how different again, it's all style preferences here. This is it's a coaster that is going to use a chain lift, obviously, can invert, and for adults and teens only. Now, if you're like me and you're unsatisfied with your guests only throwing up in rides like the teacups or other basic rides, and you wanted a coaster to make them barf their brains out, well, this is the best one. This is called the Spiral, and it's going to be one of those roller coasters that spin a lot. I actually have like a little setup for us. You bring it up here, and there's going to be a certain point where you can unlock the spinning. Of course, you can always lock if it's a little bit more intense. You always got to send them. Obviously, have to send them down, and then just chaos. Oh, you're dead, and then boom. Well, you're dead because of that. But yeah, I think this is a very fun ride. I don't think I'd ever want to ride it myself. It's a chain lift, cannot invert, but for all ages, of course. Everyone can throw up. And here we have the Enigma. It is a stand-up ride. I believe it is the only stand-up ride in the game. But still, stand-up rides, I love stand-up rides. It's a chain lift, can invert, for adults and teens only. Very nice style here. I do like the style with the red, but everyone needs, I feel like there's so many unique rides that if you want like a crazy, just purely coaster theme park, you have to have the stand-up ride, the flying coaster, so many others. This is the Typhoon, another very, very unique coaster in the game. It's a vertical chain lift and LSM. I'll go over what the hell that means. Can invert and for adults and teens only. Not going to try to pronounce this one. But yeah, I do like that there's only 2 rows, boom, boom. But this is what makes it different. Right there. You vertically lift up, and then what you can do is, so I can just send these guys straight up. I'm going to go ahead and start the test now while we continue to build this. Yeah, so you can send these guys straight up, and then there's 2 moves that you can do. You could do this, or you can do this. Let's try this because it's more extravagant, I guess. and then we can just kind of send them straight down. There's also this motor. Here, let's watch as this happens. That looks absolutely terrifying. That looks absolutely terrifying. And then it waits. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Calm down. Jeez, that is very, very fun. We can trim the brakes and propels the trains at speeds along the track, so you can speed it up too. Like I said, extremely unique, just like what we saw in the stand-up roller coaster before it. Kind of want to watch this one more time. I love that it just like you just wait up here. It just has you wait, and then bam, death. I honestly can't tell what name I like more. Rage was really nice. The Invincible was really nice. This is called the Black Falcon. It is the actually it's one of 2 winged rides. One of the other winged ride is a launch. So it's kind of like a hybrid between the launch coasters that we saw where they kind of shoot you out of the gates. So yeah, this is it's a winged ride. It is for adults and teens only, can convert, and it's a chain lift. Here's an example of what it kind of looks like. And then let's go into the other. This is called the Cloud Runner. Interesting name. I like all this stuff. All these. So kind of same thing. Magnetic brakes. You kind of shoot people straight out, and the differences are it's winged. So we've got the core part of the coaster in the middle, while it kind of keeps the guests dangling along the outside. Finally, we're at the wooden roller coaster. Actually, it took a lot longer than I thought for the devs to get this into Planet Coaster, but it's just such a classic. Again, you can't go wrong with it. It's for all ages, cannot invert, of course. It's a chain lift, but man, it's such a classic. I can't, it's so hard to go to the theme park and not see wooden roller coasters like this, even though they're sketchy and it always feels like you're going to die on these suckers. It's just, oh man, that look of just everything being wooden. And I don't know, in harsh weather conditions, I don't know how these guys stay up and stay up alive, I guess. I don't know. And finally, this is called the Test Pilot. It's a X Dimension type of coaster. I don't know. Again, these names are incredible. It's a chain lift, can invert, and it's for all ages. Here's the thing about this ride, though. It's going to send you backwards. It does not care. Let's go into this and start a test. It sends people straight backwards. I don't even. That's pretty insane. Let's go ahead and watch this. Again, lots and lots of options. I think that's clear. Wow, now they're all dead. That's clearly what the developers here at Planet Coaster or for Planet Coaster wanted, is plenty of options, there's just so many. Again, that's kind of why I wanted to do this breakdown video, just to make sure that all of these amazing coasters really get the credit that they deserve, because there's just so much diversity. So I really hope this video will help you choose the very best coaster for your theme park, and let me know in the comment section down below, what's your favorite coaster? I know that obviously these are all highly situational, that's why there's just so many options, because there's going to be all sorts of different situations and different scenes and scenarios that you might be in. But nonetheless, I think that personally, I'm always a big fan of wooden roller coasters. There are a couple really, really special ones in there that I think get kind of overshadowed by kind of the more popular rides. But either way, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.